All right, so felt inspired to make this video because, oh my lord, even though there is opportunity and problems, I still see that a lot of people are very stubborn to fucking just acknowledge practical truth. It has nothing to do with morality, because morality for our society has changed throughout the millennia. Oh my God, it's just, that's why Conversation with God is such a critical book, at least for me, to siphon out you, and I say this with all due respect of all my brothers and sisters, right, even though all these fucking people use it as a cliche, to siphon you idiots out, or in a less, I guess, derogatory word, to siphon the lesser evolved humans. All right, so this video, it will be called "Why Dating Is Not Prostitution," but it is, right? Or you can say it's just it's a semantical nature, right? So to break it down very, very simply for the retards, right, who are still gonna be in denial, the reason why dating is not seen as prostitution is because by law, right, you are engaging in something illegal, even though slavery was legal, all these, some dumb shit when the past was basically legal, but now is illegal because we recognize in hindsight that it's retarded. Anyways, the law says that you are engaging in prostitution if you explicitly request for sex and get paid in, cold hard cash, right? Or things of monetary value, even though that's basically what marriage is. But again, because he didn't explicitly say, hey, I just want to have sex with you and that's it, therefore it's not prostitution. Okay, and I know YouTube is kind of shadow banning my channel, but whatever. I just use YouTube as a timestamp to throw these ideas out. And of course, I save all my hard drive information, so maybe when people are excavating. Anyways, the point is, okay, so that's why dating is not seen as prostitution, because the man is taking you on a date and he's not literally saying, okay, or more importantly, he's not saying, hey, I'm not going to take you out on the date till after we fuck, right? Because that has, well, see, because that, even though that has monetary value, that's why I'm like, how do you guys not see that that dating is not a form of prostitution? Sorry. It's escorting. It's escorting. If we're gonna get into I guess more into more of the details. So you'll hear me repeat maybe in my other videos. There's a difference between a girlfriend, a wife, a sugar baby. And it should be girlfriend, sugar baby, because they're kind of related, right? Wife is different because there's a contract signed, right? And basically, I'm gonna make a chart eventually laying out the reasons why why they're different, yet in essence they are the same. And it's not anybody's fault. I'm not making any moral judgments. And that's the other thing. People don't. I get it. You've been trained to think in right and wrong and morality and sin and whatever the fuck if you're religious, but that's not the reality of reality. There is no God or deity judging you. It does not give a fuck. If you haven't looked at history lately, if you haven't looked around, there is no God necessarily punishing or rewarding anybody. It's just, it set up the laws of cause and effect. Okay, girlfriend, sugar baby, but the sugar baby can be okay. Girlfriend, because that's kind of the thing. Well, actually, no, we should say wife, because that was the original thing before. There was no dating where you have a girlfriend because you're dating her and waiting to see if you're, whatever. Or I guess they call it courting back then. But again, those were in different environments. Women weren't allowed to work primarily because of the difference of physical power. Therefore, once the technology evolved, which allowed the legal laws and the norms to evolve to allow women to come to work. And look what it has. What it has ultimately produced: more net negatives than net positives. Sure, women should not go back just to not working to the workforce, but we have greater issues with our economic systems, theories, and structures and concepts that that collide with biological norms that have been around for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, relative to like what 50 decades, 60 decades, maybe 80 decades, maybe 100 decades at best of technological massive innovation. All right, so girlfriend, wife, sugar baby, escort, and prostitute. Okay, why is there a difference? Because a girl takes payment indirectly, right? A girlfriend takes payment indirectly. Dinners, flowers, vacations, whatever, and what's it called? But you have not signed a legal contract for her services, basically. A wife, exact same thing, gets paid that way, right? Maybe even gets an allowance. That's why when that one show tried to pinhole the guy who started singing arrangements, which was, I'm sure he's loaded with money now, but yeah. Actually, I gotta pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up. Hold on. Let me see. Please tell me I have it. Oh yeah, it should be my DSP right here. Damn it, it's not in there. Fuck. Damn it. Anyways, all right. There was a. I'll get to it later. Oh yeah. So again, the wife takes payment, right? And also takes. All right, so the wife takes payment like a girlfriend for the most part. Oh yeah, the allowance. Okay, so when they try to pigeonhole him or put him in a corner of like the Asian interviewer lady, she's like, I just don't see how that's just like not prostitution. And it's like, he's like, my mom decided to be a full-time home mom, and my dad would give her an allowance. Is she a prostitute? And I put the video with the clip with Chappelle. Gotcha, bitch. Because it's a technicality, it's a gray area. It's also known as the oldest profession because why? This, as I said before, it's not anybody's fault. Men don't need women to survive. Humans need both men and women to perpetuate the race, but after we're out of the womb, and especially after we were done nursing and shit like that, basically, from the time we can basically walk, we really don't need women, okay? And, okay, I'm not saying like a definitive no need. I'm just saying within the context, all right? This is what people don't understand, context. Within the context of survival, we do not need women like that. Of course, we need both. It takes two to tango. That's why women, we produce life. It's like, no, you don't. See, this is the semantical, this is a perfect semantical thing. The syntax that says we, when she or females like her say we don't, we produce life, she's referring, the we refers to the female, the female collective, right? Whereas I'm saying, no. We, meaning the human collective, right? We give life. If I don't even get hard and deposit in you, what does it matter if you have a womb to give life? It means nothing without our seed, right? And I've seen girls on YouTube channels debating with guys like, we don't need no man. It's like, oh my God, yes and no, I get it. You don't need a man directly because he's depositing his sperm into a sperm bank, which then you go to fucking get the sperm. Yes, you don't need him directly, but you do need his sperm. You do need men's sperm. And it's just like, how do you not see the sequence, logical sequence, just a sequence? There's a sequence to life. You don't put the cart before the horse, and that's what the fuck we're doing with our society right now. We're putting women before the horse, and so men are giving up. And this is why I constantly stress to re-legalize the oldest profession, because just like how in the past governments made polygamy illegal, so that men wouldn't give up, because men are the workhorses. We are the foundation of society. If we crumble and fall, everything else falls underneath. And so men are the foundation, women are the house. Without that foundation, that house is going to sink and crumble into nothing. right? And so that's what's happening to a lot of these women who don't understand and don't see the logic and are so brainwashed and so into the group mind think of feminism, or just the female code or whatever, girl code, that they missed their window, and then they're still going to be, I'm single by choice. I'm single by choice. No, you're not. No, you're not. We men, especially men that build ourselves to top tierness, we don't want you. We don't want you. It's not that by choice. It's that you don't have the options. The guys like us no longer want you. We may have wanted you in the past, but you didn't know how to play your cards. You didn't know how to cash out your fucking casino chips. You continued in the casino to gamble, and now you gotta pay the consequences of that. Okay. So, so the wife doesn't get paid. She gets paid indirectly, right, or directly, but because she signed a marriage contract saying, see oh my God, the marriage contract is so fucking vague. That's why I say any man that signs it is so stupid, and that's why I say the only way a woman has truly won is if she got a guy to sign a horrible business contract called marriage. And the guy didn't execute on a prenup or didn't execute it properly, that now it will be thrown out in court, right? It also depends on what state you're in, whatever. But in general, that's how you ladies win. If you don't get it, now it doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything, because if the guy kills himself out of knowing the fact that he's going to be a financial slave for you forever, especially in states where it's in perpetuity of alimony, then you're fucked, or whatever. I'm just saying, you could still technically lose, but in general, right, most guys are not going to kill themselves. They're just going to do what they have to do. Some of them will work under the table, right, and still earn money. There's ways around it, but it's just stupid. As a man, to me, you're stupid if you went down that route. Anyways, okay, so the wife gets paid that way, right? She gets paid directly and indirectly. All right. If especially the husband gives her an allowance, because there are certain cases where the husband just gives her the money exactly for the food, pays for her when he's paying the full mortgage, he's paying her half in exchange for services, whatever that may be. Because I'm in people's homes, people. I remodel bathrooms. I'm in people's homes all the fucking time. I see what the fuck's going on, okay? And throughout my life, I decided to pay attention to relationships and ask people the tough questions. And luckily, most people are pretty open about it. Sure, some of them may lie, right, or whatever. But anyways, all right. So the third one is a sugar baby, okay? She gets paid directly and indirectly, right? Because there are some sugar daddies that will give them this and that, most of the time, I just give the girls cash, because I'm telling them, look, you go get whatever you need with that. That's it. I'm not getting other stuff. Every once in a while, okay, maybe I'll we'll go get something to eat after, because we're both starving, whatever. And I like their general performance, so you can say it's a tip, But for the most part, I'm paying them directly, meaning here's the cash. You manage your own life, because I don't want to manage your life. First of all, they think they can manage their life better, and so be it. And so be it. Even though they're broke, and even down the road, when I see these other women who basically rejected me, if I could show you that, oh my Lord, man, a lot of you guys would be like, oh wow, okay, that's the truth. Okay, good. I'm actually happy when I get rejected. And then for women too, some of you may be like, oh fuck, okay, thank you for showing me the long consequences of my actions now. Okay, so sugar babies get paid directly and indirectly, and then escorts they get paid directly, and they usually charge by 30-minute increments. Why? Because that's generally how much the average man needs. I know I'm an hour average kind of guy. Well, what I mapped out is basically it's about 2 hours, but because that first hour is just kind of maybe sometimes just talking a little bit, getting to know each other, maybe 30 minutes. But also after we fuck, we kind of chill and talk or whatever, get to know each other a little more than the initial thing. But after that, it's really more or less like an hour. More like 45 minutes, maybe 15 minutes or whatever. But yeah, just saying an hour, okay? It's about an hour. But if guys are really, because see, sugar babies are basically, the reason why they're different than escorts, even though they're a de facto form of escorts, just like a girlfriend is, okay, is because some of them do want to be a girlfriend, right? Basically being paid like a wife, getting wife, don't give wife wife quality, whatever, wife services or wife like whatever without wife whatever without a ring on it. Whatever, I forgot how they put that. But yeah, don't give wife quality things. It's like, first of all, oh my God, ladies, whoever watches this, your womb is the greatest gift you can give to a man. Do you know why? Because look what happens when you have another man's kid and he leaves you or he dies or whatever, and you're known as a single mother. Many men don't want to date you, right? If a man's willing to date you, you can pretty much guarantee, right? Of course, there'll always be the exceptions, but in general, these are low tier dudes. They're taking garbage a deal, okay? Again, not that there couldn't be exceptions, like a spiritually evolved person that sees everybody as brothers and sisters, therefore he sees it as one of the extensions of his human family, okay? But usually those guys are broke anyways too, so these single mothers don't even want them anyway, so damn, so frustrated with everybody, not just women, just regular, man. You masses are dumbasses. That's why it rhymes. That's why you look at history, you'll be on the wrong side, more often than not, you are on the wrong side of history, all right? Okay, so so escorts charge by the 30-minute increments, right? And they're in and they're out, right? Same thing with prostitute, okay? They just give you sex and that's it. There's no companionship, right? Where the escorts, they may give you companionship on the front end, right? Because they're vetting to see if you're not a cop or whatever, right? But their secret sauce basically is that you're buying their presence, their time, right? You're buying their presence. But because, just like as a girlfriend, right? Because she likes you so much, you're such a nice guy, you have a personality, you're smart, you're funny, whatever the fuck, she's gifting you sex, okay? Just so like the girl, oh, you know, even though you paid indirectly, right? Because how often have you heard, especially these fucking hypocritical feminists that say, oh, I'm a feminist, I want equality and social, economic, blah, 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 just a bunch of garbage, right? Say, oh, but if he doesn't pay for the date, he's not getting another date. What the fuck? Okay, so that's why I may seem like a woman hater or whatever. So no, I don't like hypocritical people, but women take the cake on that. Ironically, because you fucking so-called men are too pussy to tell them the truth. Hey, I just want to bang you. And obviously some of you suffer direly for lying, meaning you gassed her up, right? You love bombed her, whatever the fuck, and then she keys your car, destroys your car, says you falsely graped her, right? Assault, whatever, right? And you're fucked, right? All for lying, bro. All for lying. I don't have respect for any liars, whether they're male or female, all right? I don't have respect for hypocrites. But you women take the cake because society allows you to. And society is basically men and women, but men have much more importance in it because we have more strengths than you. 5 strengths: physical, intellectual, financial, reproductive, and sexual. You only have 1. You can sort of claim the reproductive because yes, you get to choose who gets to be born, right? Which usually is a liability to a man anyway, so it's not really to our benefit. But the fact that we can pollinate many different girls, and if you get pollinated, you can only have 1 kid, 1 maybe 2 at best in a year, okay? And then you're more vulnerable. You need extra resources to even to feed the new person being born in your belly. Let alone when it pops out. Look how many struggling single mothers there are, right? And why these kids are usually left in poverty? Because if you start from poverty, you're most likely going to end up in jail because that's just the root key, the common denominator when it comes to people who end up in jail. Because you're trying to survive. This is a dog eat dog. This is the modern day concrete jungle. Okay? So, what was I saying? Prostitute, escort, yeah, escort. It's like a whatever, because they may do that, but they know that if they don't put out, you're not going to call them again. Okay, so escorts may do that. Some guys do want companionship along with the sex. All right. So this is where I say, ladies, this is not your fault. So whether the guy wants a one-night stand, meaning he is planning it, because some guys only do a one-night stand. I wish I should have. Damn it. Let's see what I got. It's not open. Okay, I'm not even gonna open it. That's another video which I already showing you the relationship mapping or flow charting. All right. Sometimes the guy does a one-night stand. He wanted to be your boyfriend, but your pussy stank, your pussy was loose, right? Or your personality was horrible, right? So He's just like, okay, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, ghosting you. All right? That's why sometimes one night stands happen, right? Exact same thing with women, right? Okay? His dick is too small, he doesn't know how to use it, or whatever. His dick is average, but he doesn't know how to use it, or his personality just sucks, or maybe it's great, but it's too great that I know other women will want him, so I'm not really gonna, I'm just gonna, the mind-blowing logic of women thinking that, okay, because he's hot, I'm gonna fuck him because he's hot, but I'm not gonna date him. I'm not gonna make him my boyfriend because I know he is. I won't be able to control him. He is too fine. Yet the guy that she ends up truly liking, she ends up reserving the sex, right? Because I don't want him to make me think like I'm a hoe or whatever. Oh my God, man, that's what I'm saying. If both men and women were just being honest, right? Because this is what I have to do because I know women are too scared. I say, hey, look, I'm not gonna judge you on you giving me sex the first day. All right. The only thing I'm gonna judge you on is if you don't pass an STD test. Okay. All right. If it's curable, I still don't want to because it's like, what the fuck, you know? I'm not gonna get into that. Okay. But I'm saying yes, even if it's curable, I don't want to fuck with you because it's like. What the fuck? Like, okay. See, it all depends because she might get it. She might have gotten it from her last boyfriend because he was cheating with some fucking real true dirty slut, right? And they recently just broke up, so there's a 2 to 3 week, maybe 4 week time, depending on how strong her immune system is. But then like it goes weak and it basically goes, the virus takes over and you fucked it within that time span and your immune system is down and therefore you catch it now. Okay, so sometimes it's not that she knew about it, is that she just recently stopped fucking her old boyfriend and her old boyfriend was fucking somebody else. So there's that. So, but still, I'd rather not because I just rather. That's it, man. First impressions are everything. If you're judging me in a harsh way too, I'm going to judge you in a practical harsh way, right? At least this is practical, okay? So that's all I care about. And because I see people who had a connection and went as far as cohabitating or marrying, right, whatever the fuck, still end up cheating on each other and divorcing. So it goes to show that monogamy ain't natural. It may be normal for you normies, right? It may be normal, but it will never be natural. And that's why people end up cheating, right? And then you got these ugly people, right? Like my neighbors right now, I can't say much about. All right, it's like, dude, you're a loser, and she's basically a midget loser. It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, you don't have that many options. Actually, you can still get banged, right? That's the unfortunate thing, that no matter how, you can be a 4 and a 3, and you still have so many starving dudes, right? You may even have a guy who's like a 4 in looks wise, but he has the finances because he had to work on it anyways, right? There's a difference between a good guy working on his finances because it's just practical for anybody working their finances regardless of your thing, and then there's guys who have to leverage that finances in order to get a chick even at his sexual market value, because you girls are so deluded, right? Because you dudes, you guys, you men have diluted the market, have made these women so delusional by the social media avenue. Okay, so all right, what was I here? Yeah, all right. So here we go. We're gonna read an article right here, so you can see that I'm not lying. All right. So the fascinating history of how courtship became dating. Okay, so it was called courtship, right? But again, these are all semantical, fancy dancy labeling. A double speak bullshit. It's just bullshit. Words are cheap. The reason why they're saying that talk is cheap is because it is. And talk, what is talking? Using words. All right. So according to the labor of love, the invention of dating, a sprawling new history by blah, 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 the first female daters faced exactly that, mistaken in their quest for love for prostitution. Oh my God! And there it goes. The quest for love. Oh my God, that word is also super fucking loaded. It is. If you look at the etymology of the word love, it's only a recent human construct, right? Meaning a concept, right? A human concept that was invented very recently relative to not only recorded history, but there's history that will be found and keeps pushing back our known, accepted of history of how long we've been on this earth. Okay? Oh shit! Here comes the rain. Fuck, my computer's starting to heat up. Damn it. I'm gonna make this short. Anyways, I'm just gonna summarize it. Right? They're associated with prostitution because it is, and it's not your fault, ladies. But it neither is it men's fault. Okay? Like I said, it's not your fault that we don't need you basically anything but sex. Oh, but what about cooking and cleaning? Look, I cook and clean all the time. Fuck, I do it now. I can hire it. Well, cooking I eat out, so I'm hiring out that way. But I know how to cook because I taught myself how to cook. Okay? Cleaning. I'm a minimalist. I'm pretty clean anyway, so I don't really need that. But I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just gonna start hiring it out. Okay? But the point is, I've been doing it for years. I got GoPro videos of doing all that shit because I also ran an Airbnb. But also, I like to quantify things, right? For myself, but also I tell couples to quantify it too. So no one is taking advantage of another. But oh my God, love doesn't take for tag and it doesn't keep track of stuff. Yeah, and that's how you end up fighting and saying, oh, you're taking advantage of me and this and that. How? It might be true, but you have no empirical measurements, data, nothing. You can't improve what you don't measure. So since the relationship went to shit, how can you improve it if you never took any fucking measurements of who the fuck was doing what? Oh, it's just, oh, I'm doing it. Yeah, in the beginning, it's easy. You know, for both sides. Oh, thank you, babe, for cooking. Oh, thank you, babe, for throwing out the garbage. Da, 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 right? Or you don't say it. Sometimes she's like, okay. You know, you just like, he says, oh, can I anal fuck you or whatever? And you're like, okay, because in your head, like, he's such a nice guy. He does everything that the movies basically told me he has to do. Blah blah blah. But as the romance goes away, because just like eating your favorite meal day after day after day after day after, your body's gonna have this. It's gonna get the ick, as you now dumb young girls are talking about in this new language. You guys keep changing the language. But it doesn't change the actual actions. That's why nonviolent communication is so important. You gotta look at the actions. You gotta describe the actions versus just labeling it as toxic this or just any kind of label. Labels are for stupid, lazy, unintellectual people that are too lazy to actually think about things, map things out, right? People don't plan to fail. They fail to fucking plan. And women don't want a lot of plans because then it's not spontaneous and blah, 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 blah. But then when that dude who came with no fucking plan is failing, all of a sudden now they want structure as they get older because they want security and blah, blah, blah. Now you want a plan, right? Now you want a man with a plan or ambition or whatever the fuck. Now him just being cute and no longer cutting it, okay? And this is where your mothers fuck up. They don't teach you this fucking shit, okay? So anyways, so yes, it's not your fault that we need sex. Like I was going to say earlier before I got sidetracked. Whether he wants a one-night stand, right? Literally wants a one-night stand, right? That's what his plan was, period, right? Maybe he said it, he was transparent about it or not, it doesn't matter. Whether he wants a one-night stand or he wants to date you just to date, because there's people that date just to kill time, and there's people that date with intention, as Kevin Samuels was kind of talking about, right? So there's dating to kill time. You're just a placeholder, and it could work both ways. Sometimes both people know they're both placeholders. They're just wasting each other's time until the next best thing happens, all right? Or the honeymoon phase runs a course, and they fight, and then they finally, do their shit, And she can monkey branch or whatever, right? And then there is, then dating with intention, and then there's a guy who wants to marry you. But as we can see, that Christian dating coach, as I will eventually put in the videos, all right? What does he say? Even this Christian dating coach says, like, listen, ladies, like, if it wasn't for, he never really says the word sex. He just does it in like funny euphemisms and shit like that, okay? He says, we really wouldn't deal with you. And it's true. That's basically the main thing. Sure, it may not be 100%, but the fact that it's 60, if not more, I would say it's at least 80, right? Is the reason why we're dealing with you. Basically makes it and the fact, again, if you do not want to be a de facto escort, prostitute, sex worker, whatever you want to title it, right? If you don't want to be that, then nowadays modern day advances in technology have allowed you girls to I don't want that thing. Allows you to work so you can pay your own half. If you're already living on your own and you're already doing bad by yourself and all this shit, but yet you choose to put a transactional a fee, right? Again, whether directly or indirectly, right? You wanting him to pay for the multiple dates before you give him access to your coochie is fucking prostitution. Okay, you make yourself a de facto prostitute. You're just lucky that most guys are too fucking scared to say about that. And even guys where you guys are truly 50-50 in the bills and shit like that, all right, the fact that you expect him to die on your behalf if someone breaks into the fucking house, or there's some sinking ship, or there's a fucking a bank robbery or whatever hostage situation, right? Women and ladies, children and women first, because you are a form of children, right? He is actually putting more, because if you had to outsource that, it would cost you more than what it would cost him to get sex from you, depending on his sexual appetite. But at the exact same time, you could take the man with the most crazy sexual appetite, and you being just one woman, over time that would degrade anyways. So yes, in the beginning he may be in debt to you if he has an addiction to sex, a big appetite, but over time it would outweigh itself, and his protection, his willingness to die for you would outweigh the price of sex, especially because as you're getting older, your price is actually going down. Okay, the only reason why it can remain constant is because in certain cases is because you now will only be able to attract lower looking guys. Okay, and they're so desperate. That's why they'll probably be willing to pay you what I'm seeing, which is an average about a $300 for the hot girls. Okay, so yeah, you may still get $300 or $500 like a 10 would, right? But you're 40 or whatever. But you haven't really taken care of yourself. Let's say you didn't age as gracefully. You still have all these thirsty ass dudes that have no other options but you, and therefore they pay you that fucking price. Okay, this is the reality. Okay. So let me repeat: whether he wants a one night stand, he wants to date you just to date you, or for intentional purposes, intentionally dating for marriage, or he really wants to marry you, right? He is primarily marrying. It all boils down to sex. Okay, so now the husband may also want kids, but here's the thing. Again, look through the logistics. All right, after certain people basically have a certain amount, and the average I would say about would probably be 2 to 3. Right? Let's say 2 to 3, right? After those 2 or 3 kids are done, okay, he no longer needs you for the kids anymore. He checked that off his bucket list. But what's still going to be needed repeatedly is the sexual access. That's why I say, if tell a man that proposes you to be your husband, right? That's proposing you to be your husband, to marry you. Tell him, okay, I'm going to cook and clean, and I'm going to give you kids. But the only time you're going to have sex is when you want to produce a kid, and that is it. And we'll see if he will continue with his business proposal, right? Which is basically, that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, that's why I say I call women domestic independent contractors. You're a domestic service provider, because yes, men should not feel that they own you because they paid money for a service, because you are a human being. Okay, they cannot own you. They can only hire your services. All right. And if you ladies would present yourself that way, sure, a lot of the weak men would be like, okay, fuck that. Like, this is, how dare you? You're such a you're a whore or a prostitute or whatever. You're gold digger, whatever the fuck. Okay. But it still is what it is, because regardless of whatever, as we see the data, you ladies are deciding to quit from your employers or your client, as I put it, your clients. They are your clients, okay? Your husbands, your boyfriends, right? They are your clients, because you are rendering services for a fee. That's why I call some of you girls female, F-E-E, male, okay? So, what was I saying here? So yeah, so let's just be, if we're being honest, and we said that the emperor has no fucking clothes, right? Or let's say the empress has no fucking clothes, we would see that 99% of you, right, even the ugly ones, decide to obviously ugly males, because they're equivalent to you, you're still playing the same game of rendering services, okay? See, I could use the word prostitution, it doesn't matter, you're rendering, it's a business, you're rendering service. I have no moral qualm about it. I just want it to be transparent and legalized and fair, Okay, instead of what people talk about the Tinder swindler, but there's so many women swindling men. It's fucking ridiculous because it is allowed by law, just like it was allowed by law to fucking own human beings in slavery times, right? And I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about through all of history, and even now there's a form of slavery, right? Which is now financial slavery. That most people don't even know they're fucking the financial slaves because I'm free. I can quit and go to this employer. But you are slave to debt because if you don't get the next employer right away and you default on your debt, you're gonna be on the fucking street. Okay, which is probably a worse death because at least slaves were guaranteed a roof over the head, right? If they did the work, right? So anyways. That is the solution, okay? But anyways, back to the reason why dating is not seen as prostitution or escorting is because the man is not saying, explicitly, hey, am I going to get sex at the end of this, or even like before he even starts, okay? So, and again, and within the husband context. See, he doesn't write in the contract, the marriage contract, like, hey, you must put out 2 or 3 times a week or I'm divorcing you. It's not explicitly in the contract, therefore it's not prostitution. But if you cut the coochie off, let's see if you get the credit card, right? If he loses his job, meaning he can't meet your payroll, right? He can't meet the obligations of paying the mortgage, the rent, whatever. And if if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're on an allowance, right? Even if you're 50-50, if he can't pay his half, you're gonna split. You're gonna go to the guy that can meet that. But if you lose your job, like I told my sister, all right, because I come from a background of 2 sisters, one older, one younger, right? The younger one at least follows my advice. Usually at a good time. She usually butt heads it, but then eventually she comes full circle. It's like, okay, you were right. I'm sorry. All right. Like I told her, Monica, you losing your job is not equivalent to Kevin losing his job. At least she's honest and fair enough and told him, like, look, I don't need a marriage. We're living together. We're both signed on this house mortgage together. We're married. We don't need all this other stuff, which is in his incentive. Okay. But anyways, like I told her. Her losing her job will not be equivalent to Kevin losing his job. He, like most men, will fucking take on another 2-3 jobs to fucking keep the family called business afloat. You women will not. You will cave in and you will break down and you will monkey branch. And I can't blame you because if you guys were to accept the fact that you are the weaker sex, then there's no problem. You see, that's the problem. I think the problem that emerged is you talking all this smack. I'm smart, strong, and independent. And once you reach and once you hit a fucking a financial hardship, then all of a sudden you want to be the damsel in distress and this and that. And then once you're out of that predicament, then all of a sudden you want to be this domineering bitch again and no respect for men and this and that, even though this guy just saved you out of fucking being homeless, right? And of course you had to give him sex. That is the oldest unspoken social contract between men and women. Sex for resources. Okay, money can gather any resource. They're pretty much interchangeable. Some of us produce resources, right? We take raw materials, add value to it, or whatever, or we just sell the raw material for money, right? And then we take that money and then we go buy somebody else's resources. They're interchangeable, and there's nothing wrong. First of all, see, that's what I'm saying. People have negative, toxic views of sex and money. Therefore, that's why prostitution is illegal. Yet everybody's fucking doing it because, well, not everybody. I'll say 99% of the population is doing it, right? And that's why when Jesus says, when he was defending the prostitute, he's like, he put it in a very clever way, but he already saw it. It's like, how do you not see marriage as fucking prostitution? Cut the coochie off and see if you get the credit card. Cut the coochie off and see if he wants to be your roommate if you're splitting 50-50 on the cost. He's not going to want you around. You're only really primarily there for sex. Great. If you cook and clean and shit like that, okay, great. But there usually are domestic things that men do domestically, right? That's why these articles that put, oh, there's unpaid labor in the household. Oh, but you forgot to quantify when the man cut the grass, when the man plowed the driveway, when the man maybe built the deck and you barely helped, if at all, right? maybe he pays 70% of the 70 to 80% of all of the cost of living, which basically offsets that. That's what I'm saying. Couples should take a time to at least quantify. But I'm going to tell you that on average, you're going to see that women, you will be in debt to men. So men, it behooves you not to be disrespected by these females. But ladies, you're lucky in the sense that he's so addicted to fucking pussy that he's not going to call you on his shit. But on the exact same token, that's probably the same way you're going to lose him. The same way you got him with your coochie, you're probably going to lose him to another girl who has a coochie. Maybe a tighter coochie, maybe a better coochie or whatever. Or maybe just a new coochie. That's it. Right? She could be uglier, but to him, it's a new fucking pussy. And of course, beauty is subjective, but it's just a new pussy. Maybe she might be. Let's say she was a 9, but he drops down to an 8. 7s to 8s, 7 to 10s is all fine with men. We men have a spectrum. Okay, that's why that hot woman that bitched about why she sees so many rich guys dating average looking women is because men are willing to date down. All right, in exchange for cooperation. We don't want no nagging, bitching shit, fucking, oh, you can't handle me, you can't handle a strong woman. No, we don't want to fucking handle no fucking bitchy, ungrateful woman, right? And you ladies depreciate in 2 ways. You don't appreciate, meaning in sexual value, okay? And you don't appreciate the things we do. So you depreciate everything we did for you. It'll never be enough, right? And you depreciate in your looks. And that's not your fault, but it is what it is, okay? So just like how we men have to accept the fact that most of you, even though in modern day times, you have the option to not make yourself a de facto prostitute or escort sex worker, you technically still do. You still do. I forgot this one day. Yeah, you still make yourself that when you charge dudes, and yet you want to call it courting and dating and all this traditional chivalry shit. So you want the benefits of traditionalism, but you also want this modern day, I'm a fucking badass bitch, I'm a boss bitch or whatever, or I don't really need you, I just want you, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. Fuck both you male and females who are delusional in your own rights. Trust me, I hold men's feet to the fire all the fucking time. I have no sympathy for a man who signed a horrible business contract called marriage. Okay, I don't have a sympathy for a man that allows a woman to physically abuse him and doesn't take the time to get security cameras like I do to prove it, because the world is readily ready to believe women versus a man. Okay, you got to have undeniable proof, and many men save themselves from many years of jail time or financial ruin just by recording shit, because that is the literal fact right now. The whole hashtag believe all women, okay, that's been going on for centuries.
1 hour and 15
okay?
minutes has passed.
All right, so there you go. That's why dating is not seen as prostitution, because he is not explicitly saying, hey, I'm not going to continue paying for these dates if you don't give me up those cheeks, okay? That's why it's not seen as dating. He doesn't verbalize it, okay? And what else? And you don't verbalize that if you don't pay for you may do I pulled out my purse. But I was expecting him to say, no, don't, I got this, don't worry, Fucking, this is again, it's the hypocrisy that disgusts me from most women. I don't care how hot you are. At times, yes, I'm telling, okay, you know what? Fine. See, it works both ways, ladies. So we can also play your game too. Okay, fine, cool, all right, I'll pay for the things, whatever. I'll get the pussy a couple times and then ghost. Okay, so if you got ghosted, it was probably for one of those reasons. Because it's like, okay, this bitch pulled out her purse, pretending like she wanted to pay, right? Or another situation, you pay, yes, you ghost him, but he's like, really, no, because you ghosting me proves that you basically, yeah, in a sense, you wanted to be a prostitute, and I don't want to deal with prostitutes. But unfortunately, most women do want to, again, choose to be de facto prostitutes, escorts, sex workers, all that shit. And so I'm saying, fine. See, I accept it. But there's a price to pay, ladies. And that means I am not going to stick around. And my wealth is compounding. And I'm going to continue living a good life while you still keep chasing for the next best deal. And fucking, again, not cashing your chips out. You could have cashed your chips out with me, but you were dumb. You didn't want to pay. You didn't want to get paid on the back end, but really, I shouldn't have to pay you anyways. So there's a difference. If I pay you on the back end, there'll be a certain type of respect, right? But I'm gonna leave you nonetheless, okay? But at least when I leave you, you're getting a severance package, right? Now, if you get paid up front, I'm leaving you basically after 3 or 4 times. Like after that, I get bored. I've done everything I wanted to do with you. I'm not into all that kinky shit, because the reason why husbands and wife get into this kinky shit and fucking sex parties or whatever, or you know, wife swapping or whatever the fuck, is because they did everything under the sun. The love has ran its course, and you need to find other fucking people, like bonobos do. After 3 to 5 years, after that, that's it. They move on, all right? They do it for the kids, because again, that's really all you really need after that. That the kids don't really need the mother as much. Why? Because look what your mothers do. You put them in fucking kindergarten. That's the new mother. The fucking the school teachers now being dominated by females, and you wonder why we have a bunch of decrepit ass so-called young men who never developed to be men. Sorry, young boys who never developed to be men. Damn, like fuck. It's like dealing with it's like fucking being in idiocracy. I woke up in the future where we think we would be smarter, but we're fucking dumber. Let those who have eyes to see, and ears to hear. Peace out, y'all.